You're watching Cartell TV and I'm Jenny. Now, I don't feel like the RAV4 needs a special introduction.
This is a vehicle that sparked the whole crossover craze that we now live in by being a compact crossover before compact crossovers were a thing. 25 years later, we have its 5th generation here.
So before I even get started, I have high expectations. Let's face it, it's a Toyota and it's one of their staples, so it better be good.
On the other hand, this puts even more pressure on them. Being a compact vehicle, it needs to fit within a tight price range and stay true to the reputation and battle in a very populated segment. Being the best compact crossover in '94, when you were the only compact crossover, was a lot easier than it is today.
Okay, so today I have the latest 2019 RAV4 all-wheel drive in the hybrid in the cruiser trim, which is the top trim you can get in hybrid.
It looks new. Toyota finally moved on from boring to modern a few years back, and the latest RAV4 has definitely got some of that. However, they were smart to keep it a bit toned down, especially when compared to the likes of the CHR.
It still has an angular theme, it's just not as in your face.
Cool taillights, the roof spoiler and these darkened sides that fall from the spoiler add to the sharp look.
From the side, even the wheel arches look like they were designed using Lego bricks.
The front has a robust-looking grille, sharp headlights and this thin line that runs from the headlights and above the badge. They obviously aim to make the new RAV4 look modern, but also keep the reassuring ruggedness that the RAV4 should have. It looks a lot edgier and, dare I say, masculine? And Toyota says that the new RAV4 is 50% stiffer than the previous RAV4.
One thing I like about the design is how they managed to up the ruggedness by still making it very modern. So what propels the RAV4?
There are 3 options ranging from a 2-litre naturally aspirated petrol with 127 kilowatts of power and 203 newton meters of torque to a 2.5-litre naturally aspirated petrol with 152 kilowatts and 243 newton meters of torque. And this one is a 2.5-litre hybrid with 163 kilowatts of power and 221 newton meters of torque from the petrol engine alone. The entry-level model comes with a manual or a CVT, and the top trim comes with an 8-speed automatic.
The latter is called Edge and it comes with a 2.5-litre engine with no hybrid variant.
All the other versions, including this cruiser hybrid, the highest trim with a hybrid powertrain, come with CVT.
For me, this hybrid is the pick of the engines. They're all naturally aspirated, so the electric motor really helps with that torque in the lower end.
It also helps with fuel efficiency, which officially stands at 4.8 litres per 100 kilometres, but in reality it's closer to 6. This being said, this is a really good real-world figure for a petrol SUV with a 2.5-litre engine.
Some of that efficiency comes from the CVT, but I have to say I'm not the biggest fan of that transmission.
It does its job well, and while cruising peacefully, it's completely normal. But if you want to overtake and you floor it, the engine's speed immediately jumps up to its most comfortable revs, pretty high up, and makes a strained engine note that stays while the speed of the car changes.
It just feels weird. It's just a thing with CVTs, I guess.
Driving the RAV4 is a decent experience. It's relaxed, which makes it lovely to drive in town. The RAV4 is also pretty comfortable for its class, even on tougher roads.
And though the hybrid powertrain is very responsive, it never quite feels exciting enough, especially when compared to full electrics or some turbo solutions out there. It's the CVT thing again.
The body roll is well controlled and the turning circle's really good. Get on the motorway and it's calm, poised and comfortable. As the trim level of this particular one suggests, it is best as a cruiser.
So is it any good off-road? Well, RAV4 was never as good as Land Cruiser in those conditions, but it was okay. So if you have an all-wheel drive version like this one, it's good enough. It's definitely not spectacular, but it's okay.
It comes with a drive mode that changes the way throttle reacts and the way CVT functions. It also brakes the wheel with less traction to give more oomph.
The interior is pretty good. It has a nice cocooned feeling behind the steering wheel, and the upright placement of the dashboard and high-set infotainment screen make for good visibility.
Being a compact car, this may sound like a bad idea, but the RAV4 is still pretty spacious for its class.
Materials are pretty good as well.
The dash is soft and it boasts exposed stitching which can be found elsewhere inside the RAV4, like on the doors for example. Apparently the designers thought that it would be a good idea to put great materials on surfaces that are visible and touched more often, and to save money on surfaces rarely touched.
This is a good idea. The door handles are nice and rubbery on the inside, but the outside, cold, hardened plasticky.
Speaking of fine rubbery touches, knobs for the climate control and infotainment screen are also pretty nice to touch. Another odd thing is that the gear stick is closer to the passenger than the driver.
Now this is strange at first sight, but after driving this for a while, I actually found I like these controls on this side. It's more ergonomic.
I haven't seen too many infotainment screens with better placement. Satellite navigation, DAB+, radio, Bluetooth, voice recognition, Siri eyes-free and Toyota Link are standard across the range. Wireless charging comes on the second lowest trim, as do 4 additional USB ports.
Now we don't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto yet, but Toyota have said that production will start in October, and in November you'll be able to update your current model for about $500.
The screen resolution is not the best and the camera isn't super clear either.
There are these physical buttons, which do make it a lot easier to press while you're driving.
Storage spaces are generously sprinkled around the cabin. There are 2 cup holders at the front, good door bins with big bottle holders, some space under the armrests, of course a glove box, and a mobile phone tray right next to the charging ports.
Good storage can be overlooked even in higher end cars. So most of the spaces have got a nice grippy bottom on them too. So good place to put your smartphone, good size cup holders, and I love this little tray here on the passenger side too, very handy. The one on the right here could be a little bigger, so you could fit your smartphone in it, but really your smartphone can go there perfectly in the center, and it's just the right size to put your keys and your wallet.
I have to say that entry to the back is not the best. Rear doors don't open that wide and the space is pretty narrow.
However, it's not worse than most competitors, and a lot of RAV4 drivers drive kids in the back, so it should be fine.
Once inside, you will love the space in the back, even if you're an adult. There's ample leg room and headroom is pretty good even for taller passengers.
The rear seats get 2 charging points, 1 backseat pocket, and there are 2 cup holders in the armrest, and there's door bins with cup holders in those too.
With 580 litres of boot space, it's pretty good. Much better than CX-5, for example. Fold the second row and you get a lot more space, although the floor is not completely flat then. All in all, pretty good for a compact vehicle.
And I do love the convenience of a power tailgate. It's handy if you want to lock yourself in the boot.
Being a Toyota, it's a pretty safe car. Most of the things I'll list now are standard across the range. In this particular trim, you get Toyota Safety Sense with lane departure alert, lane trace assist, pre-collision safety system with pedestrian and cyclist detection, road sign assist, auto high beam and active cruise control. You also get trailer sway control, blind spot monitor, rear cross traffic alert, front and rear parking sensors, reversing camera with back guide monitor, ABS, EBD, brake assist, vehicle stability control, panoramic view monitor, traction control and hill start assist. The only thing that you get on the top trim above this one is downhill assist control. Features that you get here but lack on the entry trim are back guidelines for the camera, which has fixed lines in the entry-level car, and panoramic view monitor.
Now all the other safety I mentioned for the Cruiser Hybrid also comes in the entry-level GX petrol. Now that's just awesome.
The latest RAV4 is a lot better to drive. It's really fuel efficient in its hybrid form. It comes packed with safety features and a lot more space than most people would expect in a compact SUV.
And now for the pricing.
The drive-away price for an entry 2-litre 2-wheel drive manual GX is just under $35,000, and then trots up to just under $49,000 for an all-wheel drive CVT hybrid cruiser, and then nearly $52,000 for a non-hybrid all-wheel drive petrol Edge.
Now because there's not much of a price difference between the petrol and the hybrid, at the time we're filming, there's up to an 8-month wait for the hybrid RAV4.
But the petrols are actually a lot more available if that's your favour.
So the latest RAV4, it's a good car, more aggressive and more spacious than we've seen in the past. And it's also the first small SUV hybrid that we've seen from Toyota, which is definitely a sign of the things to come. I mean, soon we're going to be seeing them across the whole range as a transition towards electric vehicles. Thanks again for watching Cartell TV, and we are feeling generous today, so we're going to give away another t-shirt. You just need to go to our Facebook page and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We'll see you next time. Peace.